Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca and thank you for joining me today. In today's class, we will be focusing on lengthening the hamstrings and twisting in preparation for a peak pose of revolved triangle. Go gently with yourself today. Be kind. You might like to use a strap and a block, so go gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat. We're going to get started on our backs today. So go ahead and just lower yourself down into your Shavasana. And just let your shoulders come underneath your back. Feel the front of your chest open up and your collarbones spread apart. And just let your arms and legs rest comfortably. And as you begin to smooth out your breath, just let yourself land. It's a busy time of year. It may have been a busy day. So just give yourself this gift of just being here for a moment. Now let's all take 3 deep breaths together. So letting all the air out to begin with. And we'll take a nice deep inhale all the way to the top of the lungs. Pause. And then exhale, let everything relax. Pause at the bottom. Inhale all the way to the top. Feel your lungs stretch as you pause. Feel your chest cavity stretch and open. And exhale. Let it all out. And one last time now. Inhaling all the way to the top. Holding for a moment. And then exhale. And feel how just those 3 deep breaths are enough to bring some relaxation and some stillness into your body. Let your breath come naturally. And then we'll begin by bringing the right knee into the chest. So bring in the right knee. Interlace your fingers around your shin or underneath your knee. And on an exhale, just gently pull the knee toward the chest, slightly toward the outside of the body. And then as you're inhaling, switch legs, bringing the left leg into the chest. Letting the right heel rest on the floor and exhaling, pulling the left knee into the body. And continue to switch like this. Inhaling to bring the knees in to switch. Exhaling, bringing the leg to the outside of the body. And come through one more full cycle of breath. Seeing if you can even out the movement on both sides. And then bring both knees back into the chest and make whatever natural movement feels good for you here. Maybe rolling side to side, maybe opening the knees, making some circles with the hips, just whatever feels good for your body, your choice. Now we'll let that movement come to stillness. We're going to take the soles of the feet to the floor. And if you have a strap handy, you can grab that now. If you don't have a strap, that's fine too. You can do it without. But we're going to bring the right leg up, taking the strap around the ball of the foot. Or if you don't have a strap, just reaching up and grabbing the calf wherever you can. And then walking the fingers slightly up the strap or up your calf. Just allow the weight of your arms to give the hamstring a stretch here. Continuing to stay nice and slow and deep with the breath. Your knee may be quite bent here. Not focusing on the shape so much as the sensation, bringing that deep stretch into the back of the leg. Tucking the chin slightly, keeping the back of the neck long. And we'll allow that to release. We're going to take both of the straps into the left hand. Extend the extend the left leg long along the floor, taking both of the straps in the left hand. Or if you're not using a strap today, you can bend at the knee and take your left hand to the top of your knee. And then whether your knee is bent or your leg is straight, we're going to allow the right arm to fall out to the side. And then we'll bring the left leg across the body, allowing the left hip to lift up from the floor. Nice deep stretch through the back of the leg and the outer hip here. And if you like, you can take the gaze over the right shoulder. Breathing nice and deep. Maybe making that Ujjayi breath. Breathing with any discomfort that you're finding here. Remembering that discomfort is part of the process, but pain is not. So if you're feeling pain, back out or back off. And then when you're ready, inhale that right leg back up overhead. Bring the left sole of the foot to the floor, and then allow that right sole of the foot to come down to meet it. And here you might just windshield wiper the legs a little bit from side to side. And then bringing that to stillness, we'll take the left leg up overhead. And once again, finding our position on the calf or with the strap. And just letting the weight of the arms and shoulders stretch through the back of the left leg. Let yourself relax with this. Back of the neck is long, shoulders are relaxed. And now taking both straps into the right hand, or bending the knee and taking the right hand to the knee. We'll extend the right leg long along the floor. And then take the left leg across the body, allowing the left hip to rise from the floor. Left arm goes out long. Deep breaths with this deep stretch. One more breath. And then we'll inhale the leg back up overhead, bringing the right sole of the foot back to the floor, moving that strap out of the way, and then maybe bringing both knees into the chest, rolling side to side. And we're going to come from here up into tabletop. So if you like, you can roll up and down the length of your spine and come up to seated, or you can just roll to one side and find your way to tabletop. So however you'd like to get there, we'll come around to our tabletop. So stacking those joints, finding a nice firm foundation, and then just let that belly drop. Inhaling here, exhale, pressing away from the mat. Inhale, let the belly drop. Exhale, pressing away. Inhale. And one last exhale. We'll come to meet in a neutral spine, drawing that front body into the back body, and then taking the hands about one handprint out in front, rolling those toes under, bending the knees, shifting the hips up towards the ceiling, downward dog. You might pedal out through the feet here. Just finding a little bit more extension in those hamstrings, pressing up out of the shoulders. And then coming up onto the toes, we'll inhale here. Exhale to bend the knees, shifting the gaze forward. We'll walk up towards the top of the mat, coming to meet in a forward fold. And if you like, you can keep your fingertips on the floor, or you can take your hands to both elbows, letting the head relax, coming into a ragdoll. Maybe moving a little from side to side, just finding a natural movement here that feels good. And then we'll allow that to come to stillness, releasing the fingertips back down to the floor. We'll bend both knees generously, bringing one hand above each bent knee, inhaling up to stand, and then just allowing those arms to inhale up overhead and exhale. Hands come through heart center. Finding our Tadasana here now. So feet hip width apart, pointing straight ahead, shoulders on the back. Just feel every muscle hugging into the center. Shoulders melting down into those back pockets. And then we'll inhale the arms up overhead, reaching out through the fingertips. Exhale, coming down to forward fold. Inhaling up halfway to find that nice long straight spine, and then exhaling back into the fold, extending long over the legs. Planting the hands, stepping back with the left leg, and exhaling as we look forward, shifting the gaze, coming into a lunge. Planting both hands now, taking the other foot back, coming to plank or maybe half plank. And then hugging those elbows into the side. Exhaling, coming down to the floor. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Using those back muscles. Exhale, release. Inhale up through plank or half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling the right leg up. Exhale, bringing the right leg through. Shifting the gaze forward. Stepping the back leg to the front. Exhale to fold. And inhale up to stand, the flat back. Hands reaching up overhead. Hands coming to meet, exhaling through heart center. All the way down, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale, release. Stepping back with the right leg. Exhale, shifting the gaze forward, coming into a lunge. Planting both hands, stepping back to plank or half plank. Coming through chaturanga. Lowering down to the belly. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Rolling the toes under. Coming back up to plank or half plank. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling up the left leg. Exhale, stepping through. Shifting the hips forward. And then inhaling the back foot to the front. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up to stand. Hands come to heart center. Big deep breath here. Building a little heat. Building a little energy. Keeping a little micro bend in the knees here. We're going to come to sun salutation B. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead as we exhale into chair pose. Nice big inhale here. Then hands come to heart center, exhaling all the way down. Forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to release. And we'll plant both hands here, stepping back to plank. Nice big inhale here. And then exhale, chaturanga. Coming up to baby cobra, or if you like, upward facing dog. Exhale, coming to downward facing dog. Inhaling right leg up. Bringing that right leg through center. We'll drop the left knee to the mat. Left top of the foot also comes to the mat. Inhaling, arms up overhead, or if you prefer, you can keep them down on the knee. Stretching through the front of that left leg. And then exhale, folding forward, planting both hands, coming up on the toe, coming to your plank or half plank, through chaturanga. Upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhaling up left leg. Exhale, bringing the left leg through. Dropping the right knee to the mat. And then inhaling to come up. Choosing the placement of your hands based on what's available in your body. Exhaling, coming back forward. Planting the hands, stepping back to plank or half plank. Going through your vinyasa if you like. Coming to downward facing dog. Taking the gaze forward. You can walk or hop to the top of your mat. Coming into Tadasana. And then inhaling up to stand with a flat back. Taking a moment to just receive. Maybe readjust. Maybe grab a drink of water, whatever you need here today. And then we'll come back to this place of connection. And take just a moment here to take the heels of the thumbs to the heart. Maybe allow the eyes to close. Pressing the base of all of the toes down to the mat, feeling our connection to the earth and all that is around us. Maybe taking this time to set an intention, to connect with what brings you to your practice today, to connect with what you need from your practice today. And then keeping that intention in mind, we'll allow the fingertips to drift down towards the floor as we inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling, we'll come into forward fold. Stepping back to downward facing dog. We'll inhale the right leg up. Coming into down dog split. And then exhale, bringing the right knee into the chest, holding it here for just a moment, pressing away from the mat, and then stepping through into a high lunge. Planting the left hand on the mat, we'll inhale the right arm up, coming into easy twist. Exhaling to bring that hand back down to the mat. We'll take the right leg back, coming to plank or half plank. Your choice here. And we're going to move from here either into a supported half plank or a fallen triangle. So supported half plank, we would put the knee on the floor and open the arm up overhead. If you'd like to try the fallen triangle variation, you'll take the left leg, stepping it through in front of the body, rolling to the side of the right foot, and coming up into a side plank with the left leg extended out front. So whichever variation you choose, we'll take 3 breaths here. And these can be 3 of your own breaths. We all breathe at a slightly different rate. When you've completed your 3 breaths, allow the hand to come back down to the mat, and then come back into your plank or half plank. And here you can take a vinyasa or just find your way back to downward facing dog. Taking the gaze forward, we'll bend the knees and step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhaling up to stand. Hands come to heart center. We'll allow ourselves to come all the way back down. Planting both hands once again. Stepping back, downward facing dog. Inhaling up with the left leg, down dog splits. Exhale, bringing that left leg forward, pulling the knee into the chest, pressing away from the mat, and then stepping through. Left lunge. Planting the right hand on the mat now. We'll inhale, open through the left arm. Left easy twist. Deep breaths. And on your next exhale, allow the left arm to come back down to the mat, stepping the left leg back, coming into plank. Nice and strong here, plank or half plank, pulling the front body to the back body. And then choosing where you'd like to go, supported half plank or fallen triangle. If you're taking fallen triangle, you'll step that right leg through, coming onto the side of the left foot and finding your way here. 3 deep breaths. Nice and strong. Stick with it. You got this. And then allowing that left arm to come back to the mat. Coming back to plank or half plank. And then choosing if you'd like to flow through here or if you'd just like to come to downward facing dog. Shifting the gaze forward, bending the knees, and then walk or hop to the top of your mat. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale. Release. Inhale up to stand. Hands come to heart center. Deep breath. Once more, nice deep breath. Good. And now inhaling up overhead, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. We'll step the left leg back, coming into a left high lunge. And then from here, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Or if you like, you can keep the hands down on the knee. We're going to come into a twist here. So as you exhale, you can either come into a high twist, or you can take the hands to heart center, hooking the left elbow around the right knee and coming into a prayer twist here, dialing the center of the chest toward the hands. If you have your block handy here, this might be a good time to reach it and bring it to the outside of the foot. We'll inhale back to center. We'll allow that left foot to rotate as we open up, coming into warrior two. Shoulders are on the back. Right foot facing forward. Left foot at a bit of an angle. Gaze gently over that front hand. And then extending through that front leg, we'll shift the hips out to the left, taking the hand down to the shin or to the block if you like, coming into triangle. Gaze can be straightforward, or you can look up at the thumb. It really just depends on what feels good for your neck. Holding here for one more breath, really rotating those lower ribs up towards the ceiling and then engaging everything. We'll inhale back up, coming back through warrior two. Windmilling that left hand around, coming back to frame the foot, stepping that foot back. And then your choice here, coming through your vinyasa, or maybe just exhaling back, downward facing dog. I've done a lot of vinyasa in the last couple of days, so I'm being kind to my shoulders here today and taking it easy on the flows. Nice big deep breath. And then we'll inhale that left leg up. Exhaling as we step through with the left leg, coming into a lunge on this side now. Inhaling, inhaling the arms up overhead. And then choosing your twist here, keeping it high, or bringing the hands to heart center, taking the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Few breaths here. Great job. Inhaling back to center. Hands float back up overhead. allowing that foot to pivot. Exhaling, arms come down halfway, finding your way into your warrior two. If you'd like to use that block, maybe moving it to the outside of that left leg. Keeping the knee over the ankle. And then extending through that left leg. We'll shift the hips out to the side, dropping that left hand, coming down into triangle on this side. You might take that right hand, bringing it to the left ribs and smearing those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Really feeling that rotation in the torso. Reaching the fingers up to the sky. And then engaging everything. Inhaling back up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, right arm comes around, coming back to our lunge on the left side. Planting both hands and coming through your vinyasa. Maybe coming straight to downward facing dog. Deep breaths. Settling back in with your intention. And then bending the knees, taking the gaze forward and step or hop back to the top of your mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. And inhale out to stand. Hands come to heart center. Samasthiti. We're going to move from here into warrior one. So bringing yourself to the top of your mat. You might take your hands to the top of your hip bones, rolling the shoulders back, opening the collarbones away from each other, really engaging the belly button into the spine, lifting up through that pelvic floor muscle, the Mula Bandha. And then with a little bit of a micro bend in the knees, we'll take a big step back with the right foot coming into warrior one. And you might pull back slightly on that left hip, pressing forward through the right hip. Inhaling the arms up overhead. We're going to extend through the left knee. Exhale, bringing the hands around behind. You can bring the fists to bump each other. And then from here, we'll exhale, taking the gaze forward over the big toe, imagining that there's a string from the middle of the chest that's extending towards that big toe, pulling the center of the heart with the big toe. And then from here, we'll engage everything, inhaling back up to stand. And again, you might bring that block to the outside of the foot. I'm going to turn mine up long ways. So choose where you might like to have yours. We'll bring the left hand to the left hip. And this time, inhale the right arm up overhead. Really stretch out here. Feel that stretch in the side body. And this time, as we hinge forward, we'll keep that right arm extended. Pulling back through that left hip. And then taking that right arm to the block on the outside of the left leg. Really pulling back through that left hip here. Imagining yourself being able to squeeze your torso out like you might squeeze out a towel, like wring it out. And you're welcome to stay here. Or if you like, you can open that left arm up towards the sky. Revolved Triangle. So allowing the right hip to shift forward, left hip moving back. Couple of deep breaths. And then when you're ready, dropping the left hand back down, allowing the front knee to bend, inhaling the arms up overhead, back to warrior one. And then exhaling to drop the arms, stepping forward on your mat. Shake out your legs and give yourself a little pat on the back for coming into reverse triangle. So let's try that out on the other side. We'll set up again for warrior one, and then take a nice big step back with the left leg this time. So finding your warrior one, knee right over the ankle, pressing the weight into the outer edges of the feet, back foot at a little bit of an angle, and then inhale the arms up overhead, feeling that opposing motion of the fingertips reaching up and the lower body grounding down. And then when you're ready, we'll extend through the front leg, exhaling to bring the fists around behind to bump each other. And then hinging forward at the hip crease, coming into our pyramid pose, keeping that front knee just slightly bent. Pulling back through the right hip. And then inhaling back up. We'll bring the right hand to the right hip. Inhaling up through the left fingertips. Extending long in the torso. Feeling the slight stretch in the left side body. And then exhaling, hinging forward. Left arm staying out in front. And then dropping that left hand to the block on the outside of the right foot. Pulling back through that right hip. And maybe extending the right arm up overhead. And breathe. And then allowing that right hand to come back down. We'll bend into the front knee. Inhaling back up. Warrior one. And exhaling, bringing the hands down. Bringing the back foot to the front. And stretching out. Shaking out through the legs. And then from here, inhaling the arms up. We'll exhale, coming to forward fold. Take a nice big step back with the right leg. Coming into a left lunge. And then allowing the fingertips to walk around. We'll allow the feet to come to parallel. Coming into a wide leg forward fold. Just allow yourself to drop in here, engaging the kneecaps slightly up the knees, allowing the hamstrings to stretch. Deep breath. And then allowing the fingertips to continue their journey. We'll pivot around on the right foot, coming into a lunge on the left side. Now facing towards the back of the mat. And I'm sorry, this is a lunge with the right leg forward. And then once again, the fingertips travel back to the center, coming back into your wide leg forward fold. If your hands aren't reaching the floor here, you might bring a block underneath the hands to bring the floor to you, maybe allowing the feet to walk out just a bit more. And if your hands do reach the floor and you're feeling comfortable, you can walk the fingertips back slightly, bringing them back in alignment with the arches. And then inhaling up halfway. Exhaling to fold. We'll walk the fingertips back over to the front edge of the mat. Coming back into our lunge. And then bringing the back foot to meet the front. Exhaling to find our forward fold. And then inhale up to stand. Hands come through heart center. Exhaling all the way down. Planting both hands, we'll step back to plank or half plank. And here you can come through your vinyasa or just exhale back, downward facing dog. Really extending the hips up toward the ceiling here. Allowing the weight of the body to move back toward the heels. And then bringing the knees down to the mat. We'll allow the big toes to touch, taking the knees out nice and wide. Exhaling back, child's pose. Really reaching out through the fingertips here, sinking back through the hips. Feeling how this can be a side stretch as well as a hip opener and a stretch for the lower back. Deepening the breath. And then we'll press into both palms. Inhaling to come up slightly. And here you can shift the legs out to the side if you like, or cross the ankles and come back to a seated position at the back of your mat. Bringing the soles of the feet together, we'll come into butterfly or Baddha Konasana. So sitting up nice and straight here, interlacing the fingers underneath the feet, or perhaps holding on to the ankles. Nice straight back here. Remember, if this is a challenging shape for you, you can put some blocks underneath the knees. And staying right here if this feels like where you need to be. Or if you like, as you begin to exhale, sinking the chest forward toward the toes. Keeping it back. Nice and straight. We'll keep the elbows in close to the sides this time. Coming forward only as far as your body will allow. Being comfortable with wherever you find yourself today. And then inhaling back up. We'll use our hands to help ourselves close the knees, extending the legs out long, coming to Dandasana for just one moment, bringing the toes back towards the face, pressing the fists or palms into the floor, engaging all through the leg muscles. And if you'd like to come into a forward fold here, you can bring your strap around the balls of your feet or inhale your arms up overhead. Remembering you can always stay in Dandasana or come down to rest on your back. If you'd like to come into a forward fold, rolling the shoulders onto the back, exhaling the center of the chest forward. Imagining that you're extending the center of the chest toward the tops of the feet. You're releasing a little as you inhale, exhaling to deepen in a little. And then inhale to release all the way back up. You can shift that strap over to the side if you like. And we'll scoot down and come down onto the back. Knees into the chest now. Rolling out through the lower back. We'll allow the soles of the feet to find the floor, bringing the right outside of the foot to the top of the left leg. We'll bring that left leg in towards the chest, interlacing the fingers around the shin or behind the knee. And placing that left foot wherever you like here, extending it up overhead or keeping it bent. Allowing that right knee to float away from the body. And then we'll let this left sole of the foot come back down to the floor. Allow the right leg to continue to travel over the left leg until the knees are stacked. Opening the arms out wide. We'll allow both legs to fall over to the right, using the right leg to draw the left leg over. Taking the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhaling to bring the knees back up. Unbind the knees here, and then bring the left outside of the foot to the top of the right thigh. Bringing that right knee in towards the chest, opening the left knee out. Finding your breath here. And then whenever you're ready, either staying in this shape or allowing that right sole of the foot to find the floor. Left leg continues over, stacking the knees, opening the arms, and letting that left leg draw the right leg over to the left, shifting the gaze. Inhaling the knees back, up, releasing that bind. And then inhaling the arms up overhead, we'll allow the legs to extend out long as we reach long through the fingers and the toes, coming into a full body stretch here. Walking the heels over to the left bottom edge of the mat will allow the shoulders to follow, coming to the left top edge of the mat, coming into our Bananasana, crescent, side stretch pose. And finding whatever variation of this pose you like today. Maybe grasping the right wrist in the left hand, crossing the right leg over the left, or just staying with the legs next to each other, no bind. Breathing deeply, feeling the right side body expand, imagining that you can bring additional breath into the right lung, filling the right lung to a greater capacity than usual. And then if you found that bind with the feet, allowing that to release, walking the shoulders toward the center of the mat, and then allowing the feet to travel all the way over to the right lower corner of the mat, and allowing the shoulders to follow, finding your expression, your variation of this pose. Breathing into the left lung, the left side body this time. Trying to take the deepest breaths you've taken all day. And then unbinding the feet, walking the feet back to the center of the mat, allowing the shoulders to follow, and then finding your way into your Shavasana. Legs might come out wide, shoulders under the back. And just taking a moment here to bring your intention back to mind. Holding it with you here in silence for these last few moments. Take a nice deep breath. Maybe extend your arms up overhead and roll to one side, cradling your head on your arms for just a moment. And then when you're ready, press yourself back up to a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed if you like, or your gaze lowered. We'll end today with a poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. May you find something hopeful in your practice and hopeful in this holiday season. Thank you as always for sharing your practice with me, and may your yoga follow you off the mat.